We are live. Hey guys, I'm Wolfie. Deebo Samuel has been traded officially. Wow, this is crazy, man. Wow, this is crazy. Honestly, it's just kind of like I knew it was kind of happening just based on the vibe. Like you got a sense it was going to happen, man. But then it unraveled and it actually happened, and it's just like holy crap, dude. It's just I almost cursed way too early into the stream. So that's crazy, dude. It's just when I first heard about it, I would not expected me to react like this. I thought I'd be like, okay, cool, we got a 5th round pick. But when I saw it, I was like, it's actually real. It's actually happening. He's really actually gone. So crazy. All right, we'll get to it. If you guys haven't heard, it's for a 5th round draft pick. And from what I've seen, I think the only 5th round draft pick the Commanders had was the 148th pick in the draft. So that's still pretty good. That's like a late 4th rounder if you want to look at it that way. I mean, I actually don't mind that. I think that's actually a really good pick for what I think it is. I believe it's the 148th pick. It should be. We're going to do a little more research and find out more, but if it's 148th pick for the guy, it's technically a late 4th rounder. That's crazy, dude. So now Jaden Daniels gets Deebo Samuel gets and now their wide receiver core is relatively ready to go. I don't personally believe in Deebo Samuel as much anymore, so I'm glad he's gone. He does need a new fresh start. Maybe he'll play great for them, but as of right now, absolutely not, man. That's absolutely wild. I mean, I absolutely can't believe that. It's crazy. It's just it's surreal because it's kind of a thing where you kind of expected him to be like a 49er for life, even with all this diva-ness. So it's just, when I read it, dude, my eyes died. So I gotta get live right now and react to this. Anyway, Deebo Samuel went to the Commanders for a 5th round draft pick. I thought it was going to be more just based on the hype that I was hearing, but honestly, I would take an early 5th round draft pick for the guy. From what I heard, the 5th round draft pick is the 5th round, the draft pick they got for when they got Lattimore. No, like that 5th round. Yeah, they lost their 5th round pick because they traded for Lattimore. And so the only 5th round pick they had left, they got a 5th round pick when they traded for Lattimore in return. So it was that 5th round pick they got for Lattimore. And so the 148th pick, man, I like it. That's pretty good. You can still get some value there in the 4th round. It's an early 5th rounder. 49ers have been known to draft some good players in the 5th round, especially early 5th. We didn't have a 5th rounder, so this is really a big one. So now we have picks from the 11th pick all the way up to the 148th pick. I really do like that. The 49ers now have 5 draft picks. Sorry, they have 4 draft picks in the from a 112 all the way to 148th pick. That is crazy. That is absolutely wild. That's some ammunition right there. Let's get some comments here. Appreciate you guys. So that happened. I really do like that card. Spartan in the house. No doubt, dude. No freaking doubt, man. That's crazy, bro. That's absolutely wild. I can't believe that. Be sure to hit that like button if you haven't hit that like button already, guys. Yeah, I like that comment. So that happened. That's crazy. That's absolutely wild. I thought I was going to get like for a 7th rounder for him. To be honest, I thought at the very least, I was like, there's no way they're going to trade him for a 7th rounder. Like you probably could get a 7th rounder for him. I was pretty confident in that. But if they were going to do that, they'll probably wait until after June 1st. And then get like a 7th round pick, like way later on, like maybe 3 years from now to just dump that all off. But I mean, the 148th pick is pretty good. I mean, that's especially considering if you thought it was just a 7th rounder, man, that's a huge W in your eyes, I'm sure. So that's a good value, dude. I think that's actually good value. I probably would have wanted more, but sometimes you got to meet in the middle, man. And meet in the middle is that 5th round draft pick. I kind of like that. I really do like that. The Washington Commanders. I don't think that Watch actually kind of like him. Is Juice is probably next. He's probably gonna get cut. I don't think anybody's gonna want to trade for Juice, to be honest with you. Is the boombox done? Most likely, because I think the boombox thing was more of a Deebo thing coming out of the tunnel with Trent Williams. I don't think Trent Williams reinforced it. I think Trent just kind of played with it. I don't think it's Trent's idea. I don't think they'll keep doing it. I think they'll move on. So I think the boombox is done. I think that's a Deebo thing for sure. So does that mean Ayuk's number one? As of right now, we'll look into that. There's some rumors that potentially Ayuk also might get traded. So we'll look into that for a minute and kind of see how authentic that rumor actually is. Because I haven't had time to read articles or anything like that. Like, is it just in Rappaport saying, hey, I heard John Lynch talk about they're taking calls for Ayuk? Because if they're saying that, then that doesn't mean they're trading Ayuk. They're just taking calls. Pretty much exactly what John Lynch said at the press conference. Is no different. Is a fifth-round pick worth $31 million dead cap hit? No, but you're trading him regardless. And I think an early fifth-round pick is good. I mean, you got something for him, and it's the 148th pick. It's not like the back end fifth round is kind of what I thought. I was like, it's not so great. But I mean, I take the 148th pick. Why not? I don't think it's the end of the world. But yeah, $31 million cap hit. It's dead cap now. I think there's I'll double check, but I'm sure there's gonna be some numbers out what kind of dead cap there is. But I think since we traded him before March 22nd, I'm pretty sure there is some cap savings there. So I think there's actually some cap savings because we traded him before March 22nd, because I heard there's like some sort of option bonus that happens at March 22nd. I'll double check. Like I said, I'm sure there's numbers out there that'll tell us the exact dead cap number. So I'll check into that. We'll do that actually live and we'll check out all the other things there. Well, Ayuk and Slick Rick, I like it. I do. I like that. I really do. Honestly, you got two guys who are route runners. And Ayuk might be back during training camp, potentially might be out until week 1, but I think he'll be back. I have a vibe that he's going to be back by then. Ayuk was already wide receiver 1 and Brock anyways. Hell, JJ was wide receiver 1 this past year ahead of Deebo. Yeah. I mean, Deebo honestly down to the core is a complimentary piece. All right. He's just a complimentary piece. He's a piece that was washed when we needed him to be wide receiver 1, when we needed him to earn that $31 million, whatever money he was making this year, obviously a $31 million cap hit. He didn't make that money. He didn't earn that money. So, and I want to express this real quick just to kind of help get it out of the way. If he plays good for the Commanders, I don't want to hear from people, what, we traded him, he decided to play good for them. What the heck? He was not going to play good for us regardless, right? Us keeping him wouldn't have done anything. So, like, you're probably going to hear that if he ends up playing good for the Commanders, but he was never going to play good for us. He attempted it this previous year, didn't do so hot, and he did get plenty of opportunities. He's going to go to the Commanders, and if he plays good, he plays good for him, right? He just plays good for him. It's not a knock on the 49ers. It's a knock on Deebo because he was never going to play good for us. So it's just good to get rid of him. Good to get a 5th-round pick out of it, something, you know what I mean? And Strawberry in the house, KK9117 in the house. I forgot to do all that stuff. 1 in the house. I think I forgot to do that too as well. Sorry, I'm just like, my mind is just racing like crazy because we just traded Deebo. That's wild, dude. That's absolutely wild, man. I like how serious the Niners are now, much more heartless and analytical. They're making actual moves. Like before, they probably would have hold on to Deebo for a lot longer. Like if this was last year, they probably would have held on to him to the point where they'd release him. And I think this front office, dude, for the 49ers is weird. It's weird. It's so different, man. It sounds like they really did look at themselves in the mirror and be like, all right, man, screw it. Let's just do this. Like they took off the gloves, man. They're making moves, taking names, and yeah. So at least it's cheap player return. Exactly. Like I mean, as if like a 5th-round draft pick, you can kind of look at that 5th-round draft pick as Deebo's replacement for that hit. So you're kind of paying, if you want to, you could be like, okay, we're paying $32 million because he's probably that 5th-round pick is probably going to cost like $1 million or something like that. So like $32 million 5th-round draft pick, if you want to look at it that way, right? I do hope, and I really do hope this, that we don't force the issue with that pick to be a wide receiver, right? I don't want that 5th-round pick being like, all right, we traded a wide receiver for a 5th-round pick, so we got to turn that 5th-round pick into a wide receiver. Don't do that. It's kind of like with Trey Lance. We traded Trey Lance for a 4th-round draft pick. We turned that 4th-round draft pick into Malik Mustafa. Malik Mustafa was that 4th-round draft pick. And guess what? He turned out to be great for us. He's perfect for us. So I do trust the front office to do some good with that 5th round draft pick. Maybe use that 5th round draft pick to trade up in the draft. I would not be shocked by that whatsoever. If I was the 49ers, that's exactly how I would approach it. Right now, I have 2 3rd-round draft picks, a 2nd-round pick, number 43, and a 1st round at 11. If I have 3 4th-round draft picks, and technically, if you want to look at it, an early 4th rounder with the one we got from Deebo, 5th-round pick, 148, you can use those 4 late 4th-round draft picks to trade up in the 3rd round if you wanted to. You can take two of those 4th rounders, turn it into a 3rd rounder. Take another 4th and a 5th, turn that into a 3rd round. So now you just had 3 3rd-round draft picks. 3. Because the price of a 3rd-round draft pick is about 2 fourths or a 4th and a 5th to move up into the to get a 3rd-round draft pick. So you could easily end up with 4 3rd-round draft picks and a 2nd rounder. I think the 49ers should still trade back. I think this is what they have to do. And this is something I would love for them to do. They trade back from the 11th all the way to somewhere in the 20th pick, between 20 and 32, get a 2nd, maybe a 3rd and another 4th, something like that. So that way you have a lot more ammunition to trade up more. Not only that, you have a lot of options between 2 and the 4th round. You have a shit ton of offense between the 2nd and the 4th round. The 49ers have an excellent opportunity to trade back and get a lot of picks and get some quality starters, fill some quality holes, especially the D tackle position. If you use that 2nd rounder and a 1st rounder on a D end and a D tackle, then you got the 2 3rd rounders. Potentially, if you traded back, you probably got a 2nd or a 3rd. You could use that in offensive lineman. It's just perfect for the 49ers if they were to trade back now and then use the 4th and the 5th they got to trade up back into the 3rd. Just do it. Do it. It's just so perfect. It's kind of like a lotto ticket. It is. It's exactly like a lotto ticket. I forgot who brought it up, but it is a lot like a lotto ticket. That's kind of how I look at it. But Scott Lacoste tuning in the house. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Before the option bonus, yeah, I heard there's an option bonus on March 22nd for Deebo Samuel that kicks in. So it's kind of a big deal. So it might be less than $31 million dead cap hit before March 22nd. But again, I'll have to double check. I will have to double check that. Now, we will do that in a minute. If we can nail a 5th-round selection with a halfway decent player, then it would work out over long term. I agree. I don't expect the 5th-round pick to be a starter right away, or if he just turns out to be good, I'll be happy with that. I'm not expecting a 5th-round draft pick to be a starter or anything like that. But if he turns out to be a very good depth piece or whatever, or a very good special teamer, that's a W in my mind. I like that mindset, Scott. I like that mindset. Game down is amazing, but he cannot save Deebo. No more than 500 yards reception too. Yeah, I mean, Deebo's not that guy that's gonna run routes and beat man coverage and things like that, etc. Right? That's Terry McLaurin's job. I'm assuming they're gonna have Terry McLaurin take the top off the defense, be that number 1 wide receiver while they use Deebo on 4th downs because Commanders tend to go for it on 4th down, and they're probably going to use him as a 4th down weapon option, screens, jet sweeps, etc. It kind of adds, if they can get something out of Deebo, this would help with the Commanders' aggressiveness, right? Because what they do, they like to be aggressive. So like on a 3rd and 2 or 4th and 2 or whatever, I could see them having Deebo motion in the jet sweep, screens or whatever. Because the thing about Deebo is that people know how Kyle uses Deebo Samuel, right? They know how he uses him. So they'll see it coming. They'll be like, okay, in this situation, they're going to use this. As for the Commanders, they don't know how they're going to use Deebo, right? We don't know how they're going to use Deebo. So when they see Deebo out in the field, right? They have an advantage. The Commanders have an advantage by obtaining Deebo year 1. There's actually a benefit for them. He will go into TC and in shape to start the year, but he will get injured and then he'll go downhill from there. Potentially. I actually think that, I'm not saying I want this, but I think he'll actually play good there. I actually think he's going to play good. I just accept the fact that he's not going to play good for us. So I'm not, yeah. I just don't think he would play good for us. Well, at least we got a 5th-round pick. I think that's what you meant by that. If we trade Ayuk, what we get in return, like a 3rd round and a player? Dude, like if David Lombardi is correct about the Ayuk thing, where you can get out from his major, his guaranteed money before April 1st, if you could actually do that and you trade him before April 1st. With that being said, I don't know what his value is. Like, he just came off an ACL tear, MCL tear, and another tear of some kind, where honestly, I don't know what his value is right now. Right? Like, I kind of knew what Deebo's value was. I knew he's 29 years old. He's a little bit of a washed player or whatever. So, you probably get like a day 3 pick, right? And that's what we end up getting. As for Ayuk, man, he is young, right? And he came off before the injury, before he signed everything. He was fantastic. Like, I honestly don't know Ayuk's trade value right now. I can only imagine, and this sounds really bad, but maybe an early 4th, a late 3rd, just because there's questions with that knee. Because that injury that he had, it wasn't just an ACL. It was like 2 other injuries inside his knee. It was brutal. Not to mention, he probably won't play until the end of training camp or week 1. Somewhere around that area is when he's going to start into playing. So teams are going to also be paying for a player who won't be part of training camp, basically won't be part of OTAs, won't be part of that. I really wouldn't be working out with the team until the year starts. So there's certain caveats. There's certain things we have to think about, little nuances that come into effect that take away value. He's going to cost a lot of money. There's a lot of questions with him. Coming off a serious injury that could ruin his career, make him a lot worse. And he's coming off a year where before his injury, he wasn't very good. His worth right now is at an all-time low. And we'll look into the rumors about Ayuk. I haven't jumped into it too much just because I don't think it's what people think it is. I think it's just Ian Rappaport just reiterated what we all knew, which was Kyle Shanahan says that, yeah, we're listening to calls about Ayuk, but we're not serious about it or anything like that. It's just we take calls about all players. I'm pretty sure that's all Ian Rappaport was talking about. I do not think the 49ers are actually serious about trading Ayuk. I don't think that's actually a serious thing. But if his cap hit seriously doesn't take an effect until April 1st, there might be some smoke there. Might be some reality. The FO part, the find out The find out is the part of the problem, though. They are the ones that drag out the contracts. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I like a second for BA, but I'm not sure if they would give us that. If we got a second for BA, I think that's a W. I think that would be a W. If we get a second for Ayuk and I keep saying this, but it's just that's the biggest problem. If the signing bonus really doesn't kick in until April 1st and we get a second round pick for him, that's a W in my mind. That's a W in my mind. Maybe we can S. I don't know what that means. I think they're making room for Devontae Adams. I'm not as high as pumps for Devontae Adams. I think he might be a little washed. He might be a little washed. How old is Devontae Adams? Devontae Adams. He's 32 years old, guys. He's 32. Yeah, he's 32 years old. I don't know if I actually want him. I would not even give him a serious contract. That's a lot of money at age 32. And I think he's kind of washed. I think he's a little washed. Papa J in the house. Good to see you, man. Welcome. Val in the house. Good to see you, man. Welcome. They could also use the 5th round pick to move up for a player they want exactly. I just think there's a lot of options that you could do. Now that you have a 5th round pick and 3 4th round draft picks, there's a lot you can do there, man. There's so much you can do to trade up. Pearsall going to gain 20-ish pounds. You're the new Deebo. God, I hope not. I'm certain we're getting away from the Deebo, using any kind of Deebos. I think we're moving away from that. And using route runners now, like Ayuk, Pearsall, Juwan Jennings is a 50-50 guy. You got Kittle out there. I'm sure they're going to draft a wide receiver now who's got some some route running ability now. I think they're pivoting to a new kind of offense, and they're moving away from a Deebo type with the jet sweeps and screens because in Kyle's offense, that's become predictable. So I think they're moving away from that, and that's good for Brock Purdy, in my opinion. Unless they draft Luther Burden Jr. the third with the 11th pick, they do that, they pretty much just got the second coming of Deebo Samuel with wide receiver ability. By the way, so his potential is significantly better than Deebo's is. If we're eating like $30+ million, isn't that like we're paying that much for a 5th round draft pick? We just talked about this earlier. You can look at it that way, but he was going to be gone regardless. So 30, you're going to pay $30 million for a 3rd round draft pick. If you wanted to be satisfied there, you're going to pay $30 million for a 4th round draft pick. If you wanted to be satisfied, you were never going to be satisfied with taking a $30 million cap hit. You have to take what his value is. He was going to be moved regardless, at the very least be cut. At least you got a 5th round draft pick who's technically a late 4th round draft pick. You got something in return. So you can't look at it that way just because regardless he was going to be gone. So might as well get something out of it. But I'll have to I'll double check his cap hit, see if there's anything out there. I don't know what trade Ayuk though. I still think he's good. I'm scared of him being good somewhere else, amazing somewhere else. I don't think he's going to be a top 5 wide receiver in Rick's. I don't even think he's a top 5 wide receiver. But so I'm not worried in that aspect. But I do still think that he's good, and I still think that he has potential. And I think he's still good for us. I do think that he's had a serious injury. It's a new year. He still has his money. I don't think we're trading Ayuk. I don't get that vibe. But again, I still have to do a little bit more research, see what the actual quote is. Like, what's the source of this information? I heard it was Ian Rappaport, but I'll have to hear what Ian Rappaport said to really kind of dissect his word salad. It's kind of what's important. I'm happy to hear that. One, I agree, Papa J. D1, the end zone one. Yo, Commanders, take the rest of Deebo's contract. They did, man. They straight up did. It was the Jets. OC Adams was on the road to 1,500+ yards. It was the Jets. Offensive coordinator Adams was on the road for 1,514 touchdowns. Yeah, but he's got to keep that pace. I don't know. I don't think he's that guy, man. Before the trade, yeah, but he's 32 years old, right? He's 32. I don't expect him to be the same guy anymore. And you could tell with the Jets, man, he did not look good at all. He looked absolutely atrocious. I think Devontae Adams is done. Right? If he was like 29, 28, I'd take a shot at him, but I'm saying it now, Devontae Adams is not the same guy. Lynch said they were wanting to get younger. I have heard that, but Ayuk is younger, so I mean, there's that. Savon Williams, I fucking love Savion Williams. He is one of the first wide receivers I fell in love with in the draft. I want this wide receiver a lot, right? If we get a wide receiver, I want him. Like he's my top 5 wide receivers when it comes to want. Not all around as in like the top 5 wide receiver, but as when it comes to wants or somebody I really want to be on the 49ers, Savion Williams is definitely the kind of guy I want on the team. I'm a big fan of this wide receiver. He's got a lot of talent. Deebo was Jimmy G era player. We don't need any checkdowns, jet sweeps, or screens because we actually have a good QB. Exactly. Someone who actually run routes and actually can create a window for Brock Purdy when he throws the ball. Also, people stop bringing up T. Higgins. They just moved a massive wide receiver off the books. They aren't going to trade and try to sign. Exactly. I don't think they're going to do that either. I don't think they're going to go out and sign T. Higgins. I don't think they're going to go out and get Devontae Adams. If Devontae Adams is like relatively cheap when it comes to wide receiver, like if he's like $10 to $15 million, I guess I'd be kind of happy with that. Like take a chance for like 1 year. Maybe I would do that. But T. Higgins, man, yeah, T. Higgins isn't happening. I agree with you, Strawberry. That's just not happening. That's $30 million for T. Higgins. How old is T. Higgins, by the way? 26 years old, so he's still relatively young. But I mean, you got Ayuk on the books. Still, you're paying him a shit ton of money. You don't need to go with T. Higgins. It just costs way too much, right? Especially for a guy who, in my opinion, I don't think T. Higgins is a one. I don't. If you're going to trade for a guy and pay him $30+ million right now, he's got to be like a 1 through 7 to 10, maybe a max wide receiver in the league. I don't think he is that. Right? I don't think he's that kind of wide receiver. Some people say he is, but I don't see him as that. I see him like maybe an Ayuk tier kind of type wide receiver, 10 through 20-ish, maybe type wide receiver. Not to mention he has some injury problems, so I don't know why you'd want to sign a guy for $30 million to somebody who's had constant injuries. I'd be concerned there. So I'm not interested. I am not interested in T. Higgins. Injury concerns, too much money, not a top 10 wide receiver for $30 million. Not worth it. We also almost got Jonathan Allen. Thank God we didn't. He needs to stop getting free agent or training for Deebo. I don't think he's washed. I think he is a little injured. He has some injuries, I think. I believe he was injured this year. I disagree with that. I like Jonathan Allen. I still think he's still got something in the tank. He's 30 years old. He'll be 30 by the time the playoffs kick around. I like him, man. I wouldn't say he's washed. I like him, man. I wouldn't say that. Defensive tackle Jonathan Allen was part of the discussion between the Commanders and 49ers this week as they executed the Samuel trade. Per source, ultimately, he was not included. Allen is due $16.4 million this year, a possible hurdle. Commanders acquire $17.5 million non-guaranteed from the Deebo Samuel trade. So I think they actually took some of the cap. I don't know. I think I still want a 5th round draft pick, to be honest with you. I'd rather have the 5th round draft pick than Jonathan Allen. Honestly. But I mean, I wouldn't mind getting them both. I wouldn't mind throwing in like a next tier 6 or whatever, and Deebo Samuel for a 5th and Jonathan Allen or something, try to work him in there. But obviously it seemed, according to reports, they tried to get Jonathan Allen in the trade, but that just wasn't happening. So, I don't think he's washed, but why do that when this D-tackle class is deep? I would pick at least 2 D-tackles from this draft, maybe 3. Yeah, exactly. I think I would sign a relatively cheap D-tackle in free agency. I'll get one. This D-tackle, there's like 40, I believe there's 41 D-tackles in this draft, which is a lot. That's a crap ton of D-tackles in this draft. So it's not like we missed out on Jonathan Allen. I just think there's a lot younger situations going on with the D-tackle position. I think they still need to sign a D-tackle. That would be less than $16 million because that's exactly how much his cap would be against our cap, $16 million for Jonathan Allen. I'd much rather sign a guy who's, like that's going to be relatively cheaper than that for like $10 million or whatever, and then just draft 2 D tackles from there. I'd much rather do that. So I think the $16.4 million was probably what pushed the 49ers away from Jonathan Allen. Can we bring Higgins asking for Strawberry? Let's just get like TJ Sanders or Derek Harmon. We need some big fellas who can eat up space in the wide 9. Yeah, man, I like them both. Those are 2 of my favorite D tackles in this draft. I like them more than Walter Nolan. I like Derek Harmon a lot. He's my favorite. He's my second past Mason Graham. He's a monster. He's got awesome production on a D line that doesn't have all stars all over it. I don't think. From what I've researched, they don't have anyone. I don't think coming out of. I think there's one edge rusher now. I think about it. I think there's an edge rusher now. I think about it, coming out of Oregon. But Derek Harmon, absolute stud. That's someone I think you can get in the between 20 and 32. So hopefully the 49ers can trade back and get him. TJ Sanders is supposed to be like an early second to a late second round draft pick. Someone I would also love as well. I like Talik Williams out of Ohio State. So there's a lot of D tackles to choose from that, yeah, you may miss out on this guy. You may miss out on this guy. You may miss out on this guy. But there's going to be that one guy at 43. I promise you. There's going to be that one guy at 43, dude. There's a lot of D tackles in this draft to be satisfied with. So I think the 49ers should just trade back and get a lot more picks. Hopefully they can trade on the 11th pick, get another second rounder, and then draft a D end in the first round, draft a D tackle with the second pick, and then an extra second round pick that you get, draft an offensive lineman. You know, there's so many things you could do by trading back and just, you know, just staying with the 11th pick, just kind of, yeah, you might end up getting a great player, but I unless a top 10 player falls to the 49ers, you're getting, I feel like at 11, you can get the same tier of player, like best player available, in the 20s, right? I feel like unless a player falls to you, the tiers of players are almost exactly the same between 11 all the way to 32 almost. It really honestly is. So that's why I think trading back would be the way to go. There's not like a player at 11 that I'm like, oh my God, at 11, you have to take this guy because he's going to be there. There's nothing like that. There's like 4 or 5 players that I would love to take at 11, right? So trading back just seems like the way to go for the 49ers, especially considering their need with D tackle, D end, and there's a lot of D tackles. Trading back is very good for them. There's a lot of D ends, so trading back is good for them there. There's a lot of guards, so trading back works out for them there. The only concern I have heading into this draft is center, right? I think center is my only concern. So if the 49ers end up drafting Gray Zabel, he could play center, or they can sign Drew Dahlman, who would be perfect. And then guess what? You can now, I'm telling you right now, the 49ers could not have a first-round draft pick and have, let's say, 3 second-round draft picks. They could find a starting D tackle, starting D end, starting guard / center, meaning like Gray Zabel, but they find a guard for sure. They could find all those 3 positions of need in the second round if they just had 3 second-round draft picks. They honestly would. That's why trading back is the way to go. Just because you can fill every single possible fucking need that you have with those picks. It's just the way to go, man. It's just the way to go. So you can get them day 3. Yeah, there's some at day 3 that you can get, man. Also, if it looks a little bit more into Landon Jackson, who you don't care about, he's athletic but doesn't have any moves in his shutdown. If he can't use his raw strength to win, yeah, I don't like that. That's a poor description, man. That's terrible. I will have to look into him though, just because at some point I'm going to look into him because he is a second-round draft pick to a third-round draft pick kind of type guy. With his combine, how phenomenal he did, that could change where he could actually end up being an early second-round draft pick now. I personally am, I don't know, just something about Landon Jackson that just irks me the wrong way. There's just something about him, man. Just something about him. Conwell plays the bell as a rookie center, and Dahlman is going to cost too much. Be prepared for Brendel to be your starting center. That's the thing, though, man. Like, I don't think that Drew Dahlman's not going to cost a lot of money. I don't think he's actually going to cost that a lot of money. I think he's going to be about – right now he's projected to get like $12 million a year. That's cheap for Drew Dahlman. I think the 49ers, if they had to pay a little extra money, I think they would pay $20 million if they had to for the guy. I don't think he's too expensive. I don't think he's going to cost too much just because that's the cheapest position on the line. And not only that, Drew Dahlman's not the only center in free agency you can get. There's after Drew Dahlman, there's like 1, 2, or there's like 3 of them you can get that would be solid for that situation. Like Coleman Shelton can play center. I like him. Ryan Kelly, yeah, he might be injury prone, but get him for a year, cheap contract. Josh Myers from the Green Bay Packers, he's a good center. We can get him as well. So even if we don't get Drew Dahlman, there's like 3 other centers the 49ers can get that would be miles better than Brendel. So if they don't want to pay Drew Dahlman that money, and there's not many, they don't want to start a rookie like Drake Zabel at center, there's like 3 other options at center. So not concerned. Terror Dome in the house. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Welcome. Terror Dome, yeah. There are a lot of teams needing upgrade at center. I think it will drive up his cost. Yeah, for him maybe, but I think at the $20 million. But like I said, there's 3 other centers the 49ers could address to be the starting center if they don't think Gray Zabel can be a center. But I don't think so, man. I think they would play a rookie center. Like Gray Zabel is without a doubt I think he can play center. He showed at the Senior Bowl that he can do it. So I think he can do it. Trade back to the teens or 20s, get a second in return, tender Mason, get a second. Now you have a first rounder and 3 second. I like that thinking. I like that thinking. I like that thinking. Yeah, I think trading back into the 20s, get a second round pick. You now have 2. You now have 2 second round draft picks. Then you could take a third rounder and then in a fourth, move up in the second round again. You have 4 second round draft picks now. 49ers the 49ers have so much ammunition in this. I think they now have 12 picks in this draft. And I think they have I can't add right now. I'm struggling to add. They have 6. They have 2/3, a second, and a first, 3/4, and an early 5th round draft pick. The 148th pick. You can easily turn those picks into later 3rd round picks. You can easily turn the 75th 3rd round draft pick into a late 2nd round draft pick. There's so many things the 49ers can do in this draft. It's absolutely incredible, dude. Absolutely incredible. Kyle's never played his rookie center. It's not about his ability. It's about how much Kyle expects a center in his offense. I agree with that, but Kyle's never drafted a center to actually do that, right? To actually put a rookie in that situation. Not only that, there's never really been a center who's played good to put in that situation. Like, it hasn't been addressed yet. It hasn't put in that situation. I haven't heard anything about Kyle being like, hey, I'm never put a rookie at center or anything like that. I do agree he values center. So if he values center, that's why I'm confident we can get Drew Dahlman, just because how much he loves. If he values that center position, I could see him putting a lot of money towards Drew Dahlman. But I disagree. I think he would put a rookie at center if he trusts that center, if he likes that center. I think he would. Right? I honestly think he would. If he can get one in the 2nd round, he could take Gray Zabel and put him there if he played good. I disagree with that. We'll have to agree to disagree, Strawberry. I think he would play a rookie at center if he was good. If he was good at his job, he would do it, especially if he's better than Brendel. And if he valued center that much, Brendel wouldn't be playing center right now. I'd rather put Ben Barch at center than Jake Brendel. I agree. I'd much rather just do something else. Just do something else. God. I don't think a team will give up a 2nd round pick for Mason. I don't think so either. I think Mason stays. I think that Mason, the tender that he has, I don't think someone's going to give a 2nd round pick because they also have to pay him and give up a 2nd round pick. I actually have a feeling that he's going to come back. So I've got a feeling. I'd rather put Jake Moody there instead of Jake Brendel. Damn, dude. My guess is they place the lowest tender on Mason, the right for first refusal. Probably. I think can they do that? If they can do that, they'll probably do that, right? Especially in a draft where there's a bunch of running backs where you get some of the 3rd and 4th round, right? It just depends upon how they tender him. So, hey, Jake Moody threw out that block in week 6. Jake Moody center, not that bad of an idea. Juan's got ideas, man. Juan's got ideas. In fact, I would just switch positions between Brendel and Moody and feel much comfortable with both positions. That's funny. That's absolutely funny. You guys absolutely hate Brendel. It's fucking hilarious. Thank you guys for locking live. I appreciate it, putting it out there. Just to reiterate it, just to kind of throw it out there, the energy. Deebo Samuel has been traded to the Commanders for a 5th round draft pick. From what I hear, is the 148th pick in the draft, which to me is an early 5th rounder, it's a late 4th rounder if you want to look at it that way. I think that's and I just because I address it, I think it's worth it. I do think it's worth it. I understand the $31 million. I have to double check his cap hit because I heard that's changed just because we traded him before March 22nd. I'll double check that, but man, I think it's worth it just because regardless, you're trading the guy, and I'd much rather get an early 5th round draft pick, taking that cap hit, and instead of just releasing him, have him go to some division rival or trading him for a 7th round draft pick 3 years from now. I actually do like that. If it was a late, I know it sounds petty, but if it was like a late 5th, I'd probably be upset. I'd be like, yeah, that's trash. Probably wouldn't be happy about that. Deebo is gone. He went to the Commanders. To be for real, they have interested in the center position in the past, always veterans. I don't understand their loyalty to Brandon. I don't understand their. I don't get that. It's Forrester. It's Forrester. It's the loyalty to Forrester. That's the problem. I don't think it's a Kyle. I guess it is technically a Kyle thing with the center position. I think it's Kyle taking the word of Forrester, and because he respects Forrester, you can tell that Forrester's like that tier 1 best friends guy kind of type thing. He takes his word for it. Because I think Forrester's mid. I think he's the Nick Sorensen of offensive linemen coaches. And I think it's a Forrester thing. I think Forrester is responsible for the offensive line in that aspect. And Brendel's out there because of him. That's how I look at it. I think it's Kyle's loyalty to Forrester and Forrester's loyalty to Brendel. It's kind of like a trickle effect. Getting rid of Deebo is the first step towards becoming a Super Bowl contender. Once again, seems like the Niners are getting serious. Super serious, man. Like I said earlier, they're taking off the gloves, right? Put on some brass knuckles. Let's go get Robert Saleh. Let's go get Brant Boyer. Let's make the ultimate coaching staff. Let's do it. Peace out. Rest in peace, Brian Greasy of the 49ers. Sorry, not rest in peace. But enjoy your fan, man. He walked away. Wasn't fired, guys. He was not fired. Okay, he walked away, so we can calm down with the whole why'd you fire him? We can breathe from that now. But Washington is taking on the remainder of the Samuels contract and paying his full $17.5 million salary for the 25 season. Sources told, oh my God, really? That's okay. Okay, hold on. Let me check. Spot track. Okay. San Francisco has agreed to trade Deebo Samuel to Fort Washington in exchange for a 2025 round draft pick. Commanders acquire 1 year, $17.5 million non-guaranteed. It still says $31 million dead cap, though. The Niners will lose 15.1 of cap space per this trade, which won't become official until after the March 12th league this year. It says $31 million still in dead cap, but I guess they'll take on the rest of his void money and things like that. So we're off the books after this year. So at least there's that, guys. At least now that we don't have to worry about the $22 million next year. Sorry, I think it was like $10 million or whatever next year, and then like the $5 million after the extra 3 years. So we completely take him off the books. We just got to take it according to this tweet. So we take him off the books. So he's no longer there's no more void years we're responsible for. There's no more guaranteed money or anything like that we have to worry about next year or anything like that. So really, I think we just have to swallow the $31 million and then not worry about Deebo's situation anymore. So you're kind of paying a 5th round draft pick while they're also taking on his void years and his guaranteed money next year. So that's a bonus. Bonus. Absolute bonus. I think it's a bonus. If Brandon stays the center and continues to get worse, fire Forrester. I agree. There's no way. There is. I know people are scared, and I know, guys. I know you're scared, but they are not going to go into this season with a 34-year-old Brendel at center. They're not going to do it. They are not going to go into the 2025 season with Jake Brendel at center. Or they're not going into the offseason without addressing center. There is no way, dude. There's no fucking way, man. I'm trying not to curse. It's very hard, but there is no way that man is going to be a starting center for the San Francisco 49ers in 2025. I'm telling you, he's going to probably be a backup center. How old is Brendel? I'm pretty sure he's 34 years old. Okay, there's no way, dude. Hold on. I'm pretty sure he's 32. He's not 34. I was wrong about that, but still, he's going to be 33 at the start of the season. There is no way. I promise you, it's not happening. It's Forster's fault that we have that low level talent in the first place, though. Yeah, I also kind of put a little blame on Kyle. I mean, Kyle needs to stop and smell the roses with like, hey, man, I understand you trust your boy Forster, right? Even though he's just shown to be mid as fuck. And he's already expressed to the media that he's pretty much responsible for the offensive line. Because last time we checked was, hey, remember the quote is, Kyle, you were about getting skill positions in the first round, players that get sacks or whatever in the first round. I will get the offensive lineman later on. So he's responsible for these drafting as the offensive lineman, it seems. And it seems to me he's responsible for putting these guys out there to be the starting offensive line. Kyle needs to put his foot down and be like, hey, Forster, Jake Brendel sucks ass. Like, he is not good. So stop that. Hey, you worked wonders with McKivitz. Him next to Pooney works good. But it's time for you to, like, find us a new center. So I do think that Kyle puts some responsibility on Forster, but I do think that it's both of them. I think it's both of them. I don't just blame Kyle, and I don't just blame Forster. I think it's them both. So finding Forster, I would wait on saying it's a bonus until we see who we get in the 5th round, in my opinion. I wouldn't say it's a bonus. I would say it's still good. Like, who we get in the 5th round is who we get in the 5th round. Getting a 5th round draft pick, a draft pick is what you're going to get regardless, or you're going to get nothing at all. Right? And then not to mention they take on the rest of the cap as well. So he's off the books after this year. That is a huge bonus. I'll disagree with you on that, Papa. I think it's great. I think getting a 5th round draft pick while also removing the rest of his contract for the further years, all void years, that is a W. That is a W. I'll have to disagree with you on that. I think it's a very good situation. Yeah. How is that one? He is just a position coach. He just works with what he's given. No, he makes decisions. Strawberry, he makes decisions. We are not a serious Super Bowl contender with Brendel at center. 2023 wasn't good, but in 2024 he became significantly worse. He's done, man. He's done. I guarantee we got some badass center for the next season. I agree. I think we're gonna have a badass center in 2025, man. I believe the 49ers of 2025 have been nothing but superb. Have been nothing but fantastic right now. They've been making excellent decisions. My excitement meter is getting higher and higher and higher, and I'm going to trust them that they're going to. I'm going to trust them that they're going to address the center position. There is no freaking fracking way that they see the center position and don't try to do something, right? Like, it's not that I'm going to ask them to, like, you have to get Drew Dahlman or, you have to draft a center-ish type guy in the 1st, 2nd round to fill in that hole. Nothing like that, but I want to see them try, try to fix the center position. Put some effort into it. That's all I want to see, right? Ben Barch, I heard he can play center. We like him a lot, but I've heard he wants to play guard. That's a depth position. But go out, get the 3rd ranked center free agency. Go get a guard who has history of playing center. Get a guard in the draft that has history playing center, something like that. I just want to see effort put into finding a replacement for the center position. That's all I want. That's all I want. No one's perfect. No matter how hard you try, sometimes you make mistakes, but just try, man. Just try. Yeah, he should. It's a job, man. I do like the fact that the Niners have interviewed some offensive linemen in the combine, though. Will Campbell and unfortunately Kelvin Banks. Maybe they're finally treating O-line seriously. Will Campbell, I see him getting, but I think Kelvin Banks, man, I don't want him, dude. I don't want him, bro. I don't want him. They also interviewed Josh Simmons, too. So if they get Josh Simmons, right? I understand that he's coming off a serious tear in his knee. He tore the tendon between his kneecap and his shin. That's pretty freaking bad. But if he can start week 1, because I've heard that the injury that he has, he might be available for training camp to the point where he might actually miss the entire 2025 season. There's potential that there's still question marks about his injury. Haven't heard anything else about it. But if Josh Simmons is still the same player, right? After his injury, we got the best tackle in the draft. We got an incredible tackle. Josh Simmons, I fucking love that player, dude, so freaking much. If we get him at 11 and he actually plays, I'd be satisfied. If we get him at 11, I'd be like, he has injury issues. I'm going to hold back my excitement. I'm going to wait. But if he turns out to be great, and if he turns out to start, if he's there for training camp, bonus. So I know the 49ers have tried out Will Campbell. I'll be happy with him as long as he plays tackle. As long as Will Campbell is able to play tackle, I'll be happy with that. I will not be happy with Kelvin Banks Jr. whatsoever. I'd be really bummed. I will be open-minded, but I won't be excited. And then there's Josh Simmons. They've entered those 3. I know that. And I like Josh Simmons and I like Will Campbell. Want to agree, the players they interviewed at the combine, most are first and second round picks. I still have to make videos for those too. So look out for that, guys. I'll make videos on those, just reacting pretty much how I'm reacting now. So for the O-line anyway. So Hagenson chooses the war and Fleury chooses the tight end. If that's the case, why does Kyle get the blame for every draft pick he's just putting in position of coaches? That's the thing. Like he has more respect for Forrester compared to other coaches. It's not just, hey, these guys in particular. Kyle holds Forrester to a higher regard compared to other coaches, right? How many offensive line coaches do you see in press conferences? Right? How many times does the offensive line coach actually get brought up during press conferences or get held regard to a certain standard, right? Those tight end coaches, the other coaches or whatever, they're not held to those standards. What's his name? The DN coach, I think DN coach. Who was it? The KJ Wright. He's out there getting familiar with Mike Green and a bunch of other players in the Senior Bowl, right? So he's going to come back with a scouting report on these players. And Kyle's going to take that scouting report and take his word for it. So he does have say, right? KJ Wright definitely does, especially considering what he did at the Senior Bowl, getting firsthand touch on these players. Forrester himself is just held to a higher standard, held to a higher regard compared to other coaches on the team. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Kelvin Banks. I don't see it. Like when I see Kelvin Banks play, man, I do not see it. I like Cameron Williams better, the right tackle. I like the right tackle, Cameron Williams, significantly better. I really do. I'm not a fan of Kelvin. I'm one of his haters. But I would definitely be a lot happier with Kelvin Banks Jr. than Shamir Stewart at 11. Because as of late, Shamir Stewart with his combine has worked his way into the first round. I do not want Shamir Stewart. But I'd much rather have Kelvin Banks than Shamir Stewart, if that means anything at all. Yeah, it is. It could be a career ender. There's potential he won't even play in 2025, and there's question marks him heading in 2026. Drafting Simmons is one of the biggest. It's a big fucking risk. It's more of a risk than what Kinlaw was coming out of the draft. That injury is super serious. But if he tests right and he's able to play and he can move around and do stuff, because I'm assuming teams are going to do their due diligence on the injury and figure out how good he is. And that talent is so high up there. We're going to hear more about it and more reports, see if he's ready to go or not. But I don't think even now, because he tore it in October, he shouldn't be ready to really do anything like remotely athletic until like maybe 6 months from now. So like May, he'll probably be able to move around a lot based on the injury from my research. It's just too many questions, but God, is he so fucking good. He's so good. He's such a good player, man. When I watched him play, when I watched Josh Simmons play, I didn't know about the injury. I really did. What I first do when it comes to prospects, the first thing that I do is I watch the player first, then I look up the stats, then I look up the information. That's how I look up. So that way, when I watch a player play, it's not construed or anything like that, or like, oh, look at the stats, so he's got to be good, or he's supposed to be a first round draft pick, he's got to be good. The first thing I saw of Josh Simmons, when I saw him play, I was like, Jesus, that dude locks everyone up. He's big, he's square to the defender, he's phenomenal. He's got to be a first round draft pick. And some people had him in the second round. I was like, what? That's because of his injury. It's that bad. It's really bad. I also really like Membu. I like Membu a lot too. I think Membu is a fantastic right tackle. But I've heard that he's got to play guard, especially at his size, 6'3", 314 pounds. I don't know about his arm size, but I think he's supposed to be more of a guard. That's my only concern. If he could play right tackle, then yeah, I like Membu a lot. But as a player and his ability to play, Membu is a starter. He pancakes people. He's fast. He's very athletic. He's square. He's a really good player, right? He's just a really good player. Niners have interviewed DNs, D tackles, O linemen, safeties, corners. They're looking at every possible position. Yeah, I think corners. I think they have only like a couple corners. I think we looked at a couple corners, one of them being Will Johnson. If Will Johnson falls to 49ers at 11, take him. Freaking fracking take him. Too good of a player to pass up. Too good of a player to pass up. He's too good. He's so good. He's a future All-Pro. I'm telling you. I'm calling it now. He is a future All-Pro corner. I'm saying it now. But yeah, it does seem like they have introduced. That was my concern in this combine situation. I was hearing nothing about D-line and D-ends, and I was like, yeah, that's great. That's fantastic. That's what you want to hear because that's their biggest need. But I wasn't hearing enough about offensive line. I wasn't hearing enough about them addressing the offensive line at all, like whatsoever. It's been a lot of hype towards D tackles and D ends. But it does seem like they are putting some effort into offensive line, which soothes my heart a little bit. The only coach I know that defers to a position is Bobby Turner because Bobby Turner is the GOAT. Are you content with the fifth rounder? I am. I'm actually very happy with that. Early fifth round pick, 148th pick, like a late fourth rounder. I am content with it. I'm actually relatively happy with it. Not only am I content with it, I'm actually very happy because we're not taking on the rest of his cap. We don't take on his dead money for the rest of the year, for the rest of the years. So in 2026 and the rest of his void money, it's not our responsibility anymore. So we take the fifth round draft pick and we get money off the books. We take the $31 million cap hit, which is bad, but the Commanders take on the rest of the contract. So they take on the rest of the guaranteed money. It's just one year, one time, dead $31 million cap hit. So we not only did we get a fifth round draft pick, an early one at that, we got another deal out of that as well. So I think it's a fair trade. I think that's actually really good because I would have paid money to get that off the books. I would have paid a draft picks to get it off the books. They only interviewed one safety that I saw, Makuba. I think they interviewed more quarterbacks. Purdy better watch his back. I got to do my research. I haven't gotten into that the quarterback situation yet, but I did only see one safety. That was Makuba. I think they only did interview one safety. So, Jake in the house. Good to see you. Mama J, marketing pro in the house. Mama J is right. Who cares? Not being Stafford, regardless. Nah, dude. Purdy over Matthew. But I'm happy you guys got Matthew. Matthew's a good quarterback. Hey, I showed some love. That's why I say we're all good, Jake, because Deebo is gone. Peace. No more ranting on Twitter. No more trying to kill our long snappers. We're good. We're good. I think people were freaking out. We don't find out who they met with until media day for that position group and O-line media session isn't till Saturday. So we didn't find out until today exactly. But it was just like also in Senior Bowl. You thought you would hear more about that and stuff, but there's a lot more connections to D tackle and stuff like that. But I want Makuba badly. I'm Jair Brown's number one hater. You are. You're Kendrick Lamar. All right. You're Makuba's Kendrick Lamar. That's how I put it. Makuba, honestly, I'm a big fan. I want him too. He's my third safety. I like him better than Watts. I like him better than Norton Jr., Starks, and Amararki. Totally butchering that safety's name. Makuba's my third, man. I like Makuba. I do actually hope we draft him. I like him a lot. Raider Ryan in the house. Hey, Wolfie, are you guys shopping Ayuk too? I have to do a little more research on that. I don't think it's serious. I think that I watched one video of Ian Rappaport saying, oh, we also heard John Lynch earlier saying that they were taking calls of Brandon Ayuk, which we already knew that. We knew that already. They were taking calls of, we knew that already. So I think I'll still have to do more research to confirm it, but I'm pretty sure it's no different than what we've been saying, where it's like people are just calling, poking around about Ayuk, and they're answering the phone calls. That's it. I don't think they're actually serious. But again, I haven't done enough research on other articles and other sources, but I'm pretty sure the source is that clip that I saw, and it's just Ian Rappaport reiterating what John Lynch said that we already knew after the trade of Deebo Samuel. So he's like, Deebo Samuel is going to get traded soon, and he's going to be traded, so he's probably going to be gone. But we did hear John Lynch earlier say that Ayuk they're poking around. He's taking those phone calls. I think it was just – I don't think it was actually – they're actually considering trading him. They're actually going to trade him. I'll have to do more research before I say that, but I don't think that's the case. I really don't think it's serious. Hey, we're showing some love. That's what I like to see. That's what I'd like to see. Is it weird? I think the Raiders are a sleeper team for what? For what? I'm going live in 5. Going live in 5. Hey, guys, I'm actually going to get out here and bounce. Keep talking to you guys for a little bit here soon. And then we'll jump into Terror Domes live. Why not? We're showing some love. Let's raid Terror Dome. I want to give Brown a second chance. We don't know how much his regression was. Sorensen not knowing how to use him. That's what I'm saying. I don't think he was that bad. Like, how much was the lack of production from Leonard Floyd, Gross Matos, Javon Hargrave before he got hurt, Miko Collins, Nick Bosa, even Fred Warner, even though he still played fantastic, the corners played great, and Jair Brown. How much was it actually Nick Sorensen not being able to put him into successful positions, into successful situations? I'm with Strawberry in this. I'm going to give Brown a pass just because Sorensen may not just know how to use Brown. Like, it could have just been that kind of situation. If we end up, I tell you what. All right, I drink some water before I lose my voice. If we draft a free safety, a fast one in the third round, that tells you that if we draft a safety in the first round, in the third round, like Makuba, for example, that tells you that Robert Saleh has done his film work. He's looked at Jair Brown and he's looked at Mustafa even and thought to themselves, hey, we need to get another safety. If we don't get another safety, that means Saleh knows how to use Jair Brown, thinks he knows how to use Jair Brown, and successfully use Jair Brown. And if that's the case, I'm fine with it. I'm perfectly happy with it because in Robert Saleh, we trust. I trust Robert Saleh. I'm telling you right now, if we don't draft a safety or put any, it doesn't seem like we're putting like any serious effort in trying to find a fast one. That's telling you that Robert Saleh says, hey, I know how to use these guys. I would put these guys in the position of play. I do think it's a need. I do think it's something they should go out and try to get a free safety, a fast one, side to sideline. But if Robert Saleh is telling me with confidence, hey, we don't need one, I could work with Jair Brown, Mustafa. In Saleh, we trust. I certainly trust him. So that's how I look at it. That's how I'm going to approach it. I believe in Brown. I think he had a great year his rookie year with Steve Wilkes. And then I think that his second year with Sorensen, it could have been a Sorensen thing. His third year, it's the tiebreaker. If he plays good this coming year, it was just Nick Sorensen. If he plays bad, then guess what? He just had a solid rookie year, and that's it. So we'll see what they do in free agency in the draft is going to tell you exactly how they feel about Jair Brown. It's going to tell you exactly how they feel. We'll come check it out too soon. Yeah. After Wolfie Show, of course. I'll be there too, man. I'll be there to check it out as well. Tyler Doe makes some great content, man. He's got great energy. I don't like Brown, but just to make it clear, I hate Jake Brendel more. I agree, man. You and me both, dude. You and me both, brother. You and me both. Jake, etc. I would like to think so, but reality is we are waiting to see which way we go at QB. I'm just glad we're being aggressive finally. You guys are taking this very seriously, right? I like the Raiders and what they're doing. I like the Pete Carroll hire. I really do. I like the rest of you guys' coaches' hires. And I think you guys are going to end up keeping Max Crosby. Then you guys do have that quarterback situation. I really hope, on a positive note, to try to speak positive about the Raiders here, I hope you guys don't draft Shedeur Sanders. I don't believe in Shedeur Sanders. So your quarterback position, honestly, it's tough. It's tough. You guys might – I really don't, man. If I was a Raiders fan, I would be conflicted. I really do because I don't want Sam Darnold there. I don't want Aaron Rodgers. I don't want to get Kirk Cousins. I wouldn't be satisfied with that. The quarterbacks in this draft, the only one that I believe in that I think will be good, remotely good, is Cam Ward. So if I'm a Raiders fan, I am so conflicted because I don't think this is the year to find your quarterback. I don't like if you had to invest in something, I don't think this is the year for it. It's such a terrible spot, I think, but honestly, I trust Pete Carroll to find the quarterback for the team because he found Russell Wilson. I do think that you can find a steal somewhere, hence Brock Purdy, for example. You can find quarterbacks that a lot of people aren't high on that turn out to be great. It's possible, right? There's options like that. But I would hate as a Raiders fan to use a first-round draft pick, especially as high as the Raiders, on a guy like Jackson Dart or Shedeur Sanders. I would be really bummed about that, to be honest. But I've heard that Shedeur Sanders is definitely a possibility. I've heard that the Raiders might end up getting Shedeur Sanders. So I hate the way that you talk. I hate the way you talk. I hate the way you dress. I hate the way you sneak this catch. Let's go be direct. Because we hate the bitches you fuck. Right. I like the Raiders defense as well as Brady at owner. Yeah. Will be facts. Hey, appreciate you. One, that's completely understandable. I think the fan base is divided as it is on Brock and Kyle. Can all agree that Brendel is God. That's true, dude. There is like this huge like divide between like 49ers fans based on opinion, like this here, this, that, this, and this, and this, and that. But there is one subject that brings all 49ers fans together, from the one that shall not be named group to Dave Lombardi's group to other groups out there. We would all come together for one party, and that is the Jake Brendel hate party. Like, seriously, it's like the one position. Honestly, I've seen a lot more Jake Moody defenders than I have seen Jake Brendel defenders. There's actually some Jake Moody defenders out there. I've seen it. One that's completely understandable. I think the fan base. That's right. Raiders defense was top 10 impacted by injuries. Damn, that's terrible. That's an interesting fact, Jake. Coming in with the facts. Brady at owner was a hard pill to swallow for us, but I'm all here for it if he could turn this disaster around. I mean, he could be good at that. He could be good at building a roster, knowing what he wants. As a quarterback, what makes great about him being the greatest of all time kind of type quarterback, don't know how he's going to be when he builds a roster, but he will be able to put himself in a quarterback's shoes, knowing what a quarterback needs to succeed. And if I'm being honest with you, based on what Tom Brady has said about a team, what a team needs for a quarterback to succeed is offensive line. Tom Brady has said that the only way for a quarterback to succeed, he needs an offensive line. I've got a feeling you guys are going to go all out on offensive line. If you guys go all out on offensive line, guess what? The Raiders, Tom Brady is having a lot of say in that front office because he's expressed multiple times that a quarterback absolutely needs a good offensive line to be successful. So I'm confident they're going to get offensive line. And I just realized this. I totally forgot. The Raiders might actually draft Shedeur Sanders if he falls to them at 7, I believe you guys pick, because Brady trained Shedeur Sanders. Him, Brady, and Deion Sanders are great friends. And we all know friends mixed with business is not the best thing in the world, but it's possible that Brady's going to feel himself and be confident in draft Shedeur Sanders. I've got a feeling you guys are going to draft Shedeur Sanders if he falls at 7. I would almost bet on it. If I was a betting man, if I was a gambler, I would bet money that Shedeur Sanders, if he falls to 7, would go to the Raiders. Just because that connection. I want to give Huff one more year also. He will be at OTAs and training camp to get ready, which he had. I think he's got to go. I don't think he's not bad, right? I don't think Huff is bad. I just think that he's too slow for this. He's too slow, right? And we already got Mustafa, and we already got Jair Brown. We already got Mustafa, who's a missile, way better tackler than Huff is. I love his instincts. I think Mustafa could end up being better than Huff ever was. I know Huff had that All-Pro year that one time, but I don't think Mustafa's as injury prone, because Huff is also injury prone as well. I just don't. I'm done with Huff. I respect Huff. He's a great locker room guy, and I don't mean that as a disrespectful way of like I'm done with Huff. I just mean like I'm ready to move on from him. Like we got 2 solid safeties to work with, especially ones that play strong safety, Jair Brown and Mustafa. We can move off of Huff. If Huff wasn't injury prone, I'd probably be all for it. I'd probably want to keep him around. Huff was our best safety, even though he was out there looking like Captain Hook. Ryan Rez, he definitely will. Raiders will get Jackson Dart, possibly. I hope so, because that means if they get Jackson Dart, that means Shedeur Sanders has been drafted and Cam Ward, and possibly a great player falls to 49ers at 11. Better than Mustafa? I would much rather have Mustafa right now than Huff. Like confidently. Facts, Jake, our defense was depleted. Even had Max out there for 4 or 5 games, acquired Wilkins to get hurt. Yeah, his defense might be solid. I don't know. Cam Ward has smaller hands than Purdy. I'm told that means he will suck. What's his hand size? It can't be that small. Considering that the Niners haven't played since the regular season, they will be a different team, fresher, stronger, from all the vets to all our rooks. I agree, especially trying to get younger. Seems those coneheads are only ones happy or think we better. I'm happy with Deebo gone. I don't know about you. Are you not happy about that? I'm happy about it. I'm glad he's gone. I'm happy he's gone. 2024, I thought the Raiders were a sleeper team because of Wilkins' addition. I also heard Tyree Wilson improved from last year. Tyree Wilson's a bust. He's got things to prove. Being Brock has no wide receivers. No. Now I guess we're getting okay now. Deebo was never a great wide receiver for us. He was actually a liability for Brock. So I disagree with that. You got Ayuk and Pearsall and Juwan Jennings and Kittle. Possibly draft a guy in the 3rd or 4th round, wide receiver kind of type thing. I don't know about us saying no wide receivers is wild because Deebo's gone. That's crazy. Because Deebo was never a wide receiver. Deebo was never a wide receiver, and he was a liability to Brock Purdy. Didn't even improve at least. Good evening, Wolfie. Hey, Nikita in the house. Everyone in the chat. Hope everyone's having a great Saturday. My dad fell asleep. Wonder if Ayuk next to be traded. I still have to do more research, but I don't think he is. I don't think it's actually serious. I think someone's just taking Ian Rappaport out of context. Stevo, I think JJ goes down. We're in big trouble. I don't know. I think we're fine. Even if, how many weapons does Brock Purdy need if he ends up getting offensive line? If we get offensive line, I'm not concerned. You got, even if JJ goes down, you have Kittle, Pearsall, and hopefully Ayuk will be ready for week 1. That's 3 solid wide receivers right there. And you got CMC coming back. I'm not concerned, even if if one of them ends up getting hurt. One of the 49ers draft wide receiver, if a good one comes on pick 11, I actually thought that too. If they might potentially, moving on from Deebo opens the door for drafting Luther Burden Jr. at 11. Because Luther Burden Jr. is like Deebo, but with wide receiver ability. He's actually a wide receiver. If we go after Sanders, that means Tom believes that he can be the one. But if they sign a veteran QB like A-Rod, then I believe they got BPA. That's what I like that, Raider. That's a good way to look at it for sure. Let's all raid Terradome stream. Peace out, guys. I'm a little sad because I want to walk to my closest dispensary, but it's raining. Have you ever seen the rain when you went to go get weed? He was a great weapon. He wasn't a great receiver. Exactly. He's a complimentary piece, but he just wasn't that anymore. We had a better chance of winning a Super Bowl yesterday than today. I disagree. The Rams game, we lost because we made Deebo a priority. We lost that game and missed the playoffs because we decided to make Deebo a priority instead of making Juwan, Kittle, everyone else more of a priority. We actually got better getting rid of him. We're better without him. I'm telling you right now, we're better without him. So I disagree with that. I disagree with that sentiment. He's the reason why we lost. To me, he's the main reason we lost to the Rams. He's the main reason why we got knocked out of the playoffs. He was a liability when we needed him the most. He didn't show up. He was terrible. I strongly disagree with that. I think that we have a better chance of winning a Super Bowl today with him gone than we did yesterday. Tyree is still a one-trick pony, but he has a bull rush. He's better lined up in the interior. I actually like Tyree. I think we should trade for him. We'll give you guys a 7th-round pick for him. See if Chris Consura can unlock him, right? Watch them bring back Bell. They probably will in the practice squad, I'm certain. The problem with Bell, man, Bell was I know this sounds bad, but he was not that bad of a blocker. He was willing to block. He's actually pretty damn good at route running, but his only problem is catching the fucking ball, which is like the receiver's number one job. He can do everything. He can route run. He can block, right? He's got that ability. He's got speed. He's got some speed to him. He's got an average wide receiver speed to him that works. But he can't catch the ball. It's just his problem. If he can fix that, I think he actually could be a good wide receiver. Who's the best wide receiver for the 49ers could target? I haven't even really looked into that, to be honest with you. I know Randall Moore is a good option. Diami Brown might be a good option as deep threats. I don't want to get a number one wide receiver like T. Higgins if they end up getting rid of him. I don't want Devontae Adams if they end up cutting him. I don't know. I think they should use a speed guy. And I think they should just aim for a speed guy. Someone like Rondale Moore or Dynami Brown. Put Ron Brown center, he can block a little bit. It's not easy to place a wide receiver in Kyle's scheme. If JJ goes down, I still think we're going to be in big trouble. I don't think so. I don't think so. Apparently, Hurts had a 97.8% audible rate in the Super Bowl. We also lost the Super Bowl trying to force the Deebo 3 catches, 11 targets. They should have gone to Ayuk, JJ in that game. But that's a good point. That's a good point. That is a very good point. You could argue is also one of the main reasons why we lost the Super Bowl. Every time you try to force Deebo to be the number one thing, the number one target or the main part of the game plan, outside of 2021, he was a liability. In the Super Bowl, he was a liability. 11 targets, 3 catches. You're right. That's actually true. He was only, Deebo is a complementary piece. That's all he was. Has never been. Well, I guess 1 year in 2021, we relied on him to be a running back, by the way, not a wide receiver. We relied on him to be a running back in 2021. But as a wide receiver, you can never rely on him to be that guy. He will never be that guy, never has been that guy. He's a complementary piece. He's a very good complementary piece and an elite, and I mean elite, kick returner and punt returner. Who in this draft is a blocking wide receiver? I really don't know, honestly. I haven't done that much research into it. We can bring up T.O. Jaden Higgins from Iowa State is a blocking wide receiver. Is he? He's also pretty tall. He's got I think he ran 4.47, I think. And he's tall and fast. Great target. Yeah, good target for Brock. Deebo will be in Washington. Diva, at least we get playing against his team twice. Eagles will handle Deebo. I don't know, man. Deebo's got a thing for the Eagles, man. Deebo, you can count on Deebo playing great against the Eagles, though. For some reason, him and that color green, it does stuff. It does stuff. NFL Combine. Let's look at some NFL Combine stuff. Hold on. NFL Combine results. Let me bring this up for you guys. Not YouTube. Whoops. Oh, bad. Here we go. All right. So 40-yard dashes for and boop. All right. So for wide receivers, you got Matthew Golden, 4.29 speed. Deontay Thornton Jr., 4.30 speed. Kamari. I might get flagged if I say this guy's last name, so I probably won't say it. Is there any wide receivers I love on here? Isaiah Bond, not bad. This guy says he was going to break the record, man. Not even close, buddy. Not even close. Luther Burden ran a 4.41. Damn, bro. Damn. What else did he run?
Representing the Missouri Tigers, we have wide.
This is ridiculous. He's going to be a day one starter and be good at it. So 31-inch arms, not very long arms. 8.5-inch hands. Those are fucking tiny. That dude's got some tiny hands, man. He's got good, but he catches the ball really good. So his tiny hands hasn't held him back. But tiny hands, Burden Jr., Burden the third. Jesus Christ. But he's excellent. He's an excellent player. Great player, great yak guy. Jimmy Horn. Savon Williams ran at 4.48, baby. Let's go. Let's go. He's 6'4".
Savion Williams of TCU.
32.5-inch arms with 10.25-inch hands. I want this guy, dude. I want this wide receiver so badly, dude. He's my draft crush. He's one of my draft crushes, Savon Williams. I don't want to he's not a first round wide receiver, but 6'4", 10 and a quarter-inch hands. Dude's got great yak. He's a versatile player. He can do freaking Deebo Samuel stuff if you want him to. He's played that role before. He's got yak. He's just he has 50-50 balls. He jumps up and gets those, dude. Not like Terry McKillen from Arizona but my God, dude, this guy has huge upside. I'm a huge fan of Savon Williams, man. I really want that wide receiver. If we get him, man, expect me to freak the fuck out. I'm going to do a high-pitched scream. I'm going to do we got Savon Williams! I'll be so fucking excited, dude. Tez Johnson, dude, 4.51. That guy's going to fall in like the 5th round, man. His thing was supposed to be speed. That guy's going to fall. Nick Nash ran a 4.57. I still like him. I still like Nick Nash. He's more of a 50-50 guy. How tall is he? 6'2". tiny.
How do you make an
hands, man.
Airbnb a Verbo? Picture a vacation rental with a host who's showing you
Tiny hands, bruh. God. But I do like Nick Nash. He was the Triple Crown winner in the college. I think he's got potential. So this Texas Tech guy's not getting drafted. 4.7. But Matthew Golden, the fastest wide receiver in this draft, 5'11", 30-inch arms, 9.5-inch fingers, will become a starter within 2 years. That's a pretty good 10-yard split. Okay, so this guy's going to be a first-round draft pick. He might be a early second, top, back-end first-round draft pick for sure. I'm confident. I'm actually pretty confident he'll be a first-round draft pick. I wonder if Mason will sign Pittsburgh if the 49ers don't sign him. Hey, he's going to be tendered, so you guys will have to give us a draft pick if we're going to get rid of him. I forgot to mention Brock Bowers. Who sold it? The tiny hands. What's Savon's player comp? I really don't know. I believe it or not, I think it's actually Deebo, but I don't think that's the case because he has 50-50 balls too. He's like I hate to use this comparison, but it's the only one I could think of. He can catch 50-50 balls. He's relatively fast, as you guys saw. He could do versatile things like he's played running back before. He's done jet sweeps, screens. He's done it all. I really can't think of a comp for him, to be honest, top of my head. And I thought Jerry Rice had small hands. There's some small hands in these wide. I'm not the biggest fan of this wide receiver group. I'm really not. There's some tall ones in here, relatively fast. But Luther Burden Jr. with tiny hands, I like him. And Savion Williams for TCU. I like those wide receivers. Those are some of my favorites. Matthew Golden, I like Matthew Golden too, but the rest of them, I haven't done too much on wide receivers, but so far those are like my 3 guys that I wouldn't mind end up getting and be happy with. What else we got? So those corners. Corner-wise, Maxwell Harrison worked his way up to be a top pick. Darren Porter went from a late third, possibly to a late second. Jacob Parrish. The corners that I liked did not do good at all. Dorian Strong at 4.5, not so good. Mello Dotson at 4.59, which is not very good. I like him a lot. Kobe Bryant, I like him too, didn't do very well. So the corners I liked weren't very fast, but I guess Darren Porter I don't mind, but I'm not the biggest Darren Porter guy. But there's some fast ones here. Running back, checking out some running back situations here. Bashil Tootin. I actually think he's good. He's actually a good running back. Tootin's a good guy. He's a good running back. Jaden Blue from Texas, I kind of like him. I'm not in love with him, but I do like him a lot. Harvey's not bad either. Trevor Etienne. Giddens is a good one from Kansas State. He's a good pick. I would like him if we ended up with him. There's got to be more running backs that ran, right? Caleb Johnson only ran a 4.57? Are you serious right now? No way. He only ran a 4.57 and a 1.62 10-yard split? Bruh. His draft stock just drops like a mofo, dude. That's crazy bad, yo. Ollie Gordon, no. Oh my God. This is my running back. I love this running back a lot. 1.6 10-yard split. Oh my God. That's bad, y'all. Where's Dylan Sampson? Quishon Junkins, I actually expected him to go faster than that. That's actually crazy. Marion Hampton. A lot of people like Marion Hampton. I'm not the biggest Marion Hampton guy. 4-1. He has a pretty decent, good 10-yard split there. Giddens. 1.53, 4.43, a 4.33 shuttle. That's pretty good. So there's a few running backs here, but I'm very disappointed on some of these running backs and their speed. Pretty disappointed in that. Nice. We got a fat wideout who hasn't been productive since 2021. Oh my God, Venom in the house. That's so fucking funny, dude. Nice. We got fat wideout who hasn't been productive since 2021. Hey, on the bright side, man, on the bright side, for real though, at least you got a guy who's good against the Eagles. He will play good against the Eagles. He'll give you his all against the Eagles. So, and he's in and that puts him within your division. So at least you got that. You got an Eagles secret weapon. But outside of that, yeah, for sure. That's fucking funny, dude. But I think he actually might. I've said this before, and I just want to throw this out there real quick. I think he actually will play good somewhere else. I do think that a new scenery can help you, especially in an offense that's been successful with their quarterback or whatever. Like, I think that Deebo Samuel with the new scenery will do better with a chip on his shoulder, especially since he tends to have a good year, bad year, good year, bad year, good year, bad year. If you go back and look at his seasons, that's totally the trend that happens with him. I think personally, he's going to have a good year. I don't think he's going to be great. I don't think he's going to be lead or anything like that, but I still think he's going to be good. But I'll express this again. I don't think he's good for us. He would not play good for us. So if he ends up playing good, I don't want to hear, we got rid of him. Oh, he's playing good somewhere else. He was never going to play good for us. It just wasn't going to happen. Deebo Prods in the house. Sad to see Deebo go. I'm happy with it. He's got to go. We got rid of the 5th round pick. We got an early 5th round pick that we can use to move up in the draft. And we got money off the books. So it's a big thing, man. That's big. How long until Deebo makes a sassy tweet towards the Commanders? Right? Oh my God. Oh my God. The only thing I'm concerned about once the trade comes in for Deebo Samuel, they extend Deebo Samuel. Then I'll laugh with them. That would be something funny. So, oh, I know. I mean, your tag was Deebo Prods. I'm assuming he's your favorite 49er for a while, but it's time, man. It's time for him to go. He had to go. He had to go, man. It was his time. I agree with him. He needed a new place to go, new scenery. You can still root for him, man. Root for him on the Commanders, man. I got nothing against the Commanders. I like the Commanders. I wish the Commanders nothing but the best, man. You know, I like Adam Peters. I like Jaden Daniels. So hopefully it's good for him. But yeah, it was for the best, man. It was just for the best. It was best for both parties to move on. He needed a new place. We need to get rid of the cap, which is what we did. So it worked out. I feel like it worked out for all of us. So how about Pearsall Prods? Hey. I mean, the man survived a gunshot to his chest. Doesn't get any better than that. I'm just saying. But might actually have to do that. Yeah, he's looking good, man. If he could be as good as he showed at the end of the season, I think Pearsall may have been an excellent pick for the first round for the 49ers. May have been an absolute actually steal. But he's got to prove this year with his full year. So, all right, guys, I'm going to bounce. I'm going to get out of here. Thank you guys so much for being part of this live. Just real quick, Deebo Samuel has been traded to the Commanders for the 140th pick, which is an early 5th round pick. If you want to look at it as a late 4th round pick, personally, I'm happy with it, especially since they took on the rest of his contract, meaning we just take the $31 million this year, but the rest of next year and then the years after, the void years, they take on it. So we get that off the books. We just take the $31 million this year. So I'm actually extremely, extremely satisfied with how it turned out. Both parties get what they want. Both parties get new scenery, work on new things. Deebo was just was an old thing of Jimmy G's era. I agree with that. What Strawberry said, I think Strawberry said or Juan did. I agree with that sentiment. It's just time to move on. It's just great for both parties. You know, it's just I feel like it had to be done, had to get done. And I'm glad it got done in the end. So thank you guys so much for being part of this live. This was fantastic. Hour and 34 minutes of great conversation. 19 likes, dude. 19 likes, guys. Thank you guys so much. That's fucking awesome. You guys are amazing. Amazing. Fireworks. Fireworks. All right. Hey, man, take care. Papa J, you're the best mod of broken ass for. Deebo Prod, sorry about your wide receiver, man. But, hey, it's best for him, dude. I'm glad you joined in here. Juan, as always, thank you for your commentary as well. I appreciate your opinions, man. Venom, that's freaking hilarious. Thank you for coming up in here. Jake, as always, coming in with the facts. I appreciate you. Nikita, sorry that Deebo's in your division, but you won the Super Bowl, so who cares, right? So congratulations to you still. Steve-O is not happy about the Deebo trade, but, I mean, it's for the best. Trust, man. I mean, I do think the 49ers got better with him out. It just had to happen. Strawberry, we didn't agree on everything today, man, but as always, man, I still appreciate your opinion. You know, I'm glad that we had a conversation. You know, that's at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. So I appreciate you always, man. All love. Who else we got? Raiders, a couple Raiders fans came in here. Appreciate you as well. Good luck in the draft, guys. Hope you find your quarterback. You got Tom Brady as your guide, man. Wish you guys nothing but the best. Appreciate you joining up in here. And Val was in here as always. You're great. OG Val. Terror Dome, the best. Go check out Terror Dome after this live, guys. Once it dip out, go check out Terror Dome. Go to Terror Dome's live. Great energy, great vibes. You know, I'll probably be in that chat too as well. So once I make some dinner. Who else? I think there's one person. D1, the End Zone 1. He's the one that brought Savon Williams. I agree. I like Savon Williams. I appreciate you coming up in here, dude. OG, you're the best. We hit 20 likes, baby. Fucking go, man. Thank you guys so much. KK9117B, appreciate you being here. Scott Lost Cause Jr., as always, jumping in here, supporting the channel. So, and Spartan Vertus being the first to show up. OG, as always, you guys are amazing. Thank you guys so much for making these lives what they are, man. I have a blast every single time. The experience is just, to this day, man, it's surreal. It is absolutely surreal how much we've grown and how far we've gotten. And it's because of you guys. So thank you guys so much. Truly, truly, thank you guys so much. So to everyone who watched this later, sub if you haven't subbed already, be part of the Wolf Den, be part of the Wolf Pack, and be part of the conversation. Because that's at the end of the day, that's what it's about. It's just about having a great conversation. Be sure to like the live, guys, because every time you like this live, it puts the conversation out there. And of course, as you guys know, every single like makes my 49ers heart grow from here to here. All love, fam. I'll see you next video. Bang, bang, Nana gang, baby.